One of the places every child should feel safe is at school. I don't think anyone would argue with that. What happens, however, when the devil, disguised as a helping hand, secretly stalks you, waiting for the right opportunity to swoop in and take you away from the world you know? My name is M. William Phelps. I'm an investigative journalist and the true crime author of close to 50 books. I've dedicated the past 20 years of my life to helping families of the missing and murdered. Join me next for a Crossing the Line with M. William Phelps shortcut. Evil preys on the vulnerable. It waits for that exact moment when you are at your worst to step in and take control of your life. In many ways, this shortcut episode exemplifies one of the absolutes in life, pointing out, at least to me, that knowing our children, what is going on in their lives, and taking an earnest interest is perhaps the best armor against the deviants walking around in the world, just waiting for the right moment to exploit them. It's February 10th, 1996. Pre-cell phone, pre-chat room, pre-distraction. Tanya Kach is 14 years old. She's having issues at school and at home. She lives with her father and his girlfriend, and it's safe to say that she can't stand it. She's already run away from home numerous times and is, on this day, thinking about making another dash for her freedom. Tanya is a student at Cornell Middle School in McKeesport, Pennsylvania, and would be the first to admit she is no model student. She struggles academically, she skips school, and has been disciplined more times than she can recall for fighting. So it's safe to say that Tanya's life is in a tailspin. And the adults around her could probably benefit, which would in turn benefit Tanya by paying more attention to how much her actions speak to the way she is feeling. Whenever Tanya ran away from home in the past, she knew she would return. She was acting out for the attention or just wanting to step away from her life for a while. On this day, however, after getting some belongings together and walking out the door, Tanya has made the decision not to return home this time. Here's something I think we're all guilty of from our days in middle and even in high school: dubbing the janitor and the security guard as creepy and gross. Am I wrong about this? Kids can be mean, of course, but there's a certain stigma attached to those jobs kids seem to hone in on. We all know that creepy janitor and that creepy security guard we called the narc. Just being honest here. In Thomas Hose's case, he fits into the creepy category at Cornell rather easily. He has this Gene Simmons vibe. You know who I'm talking about. The bass-playing dude from the band Kiss with the long tongue who spits fire. Hose has dark black, shoe polish-like dyed hair, thick and dark dyed eyebrows, and these beady dark eyes. Creepy. He's 37 years old in 1996 and has worked at Cornell Middle School in security for some time now. He trolls the halls and outside the school with his little walkie-talkie, and the kids see him as a frightening snitch you need to stay away from. When Tanya arrived at Cornell in the fall of 1995, she didn't know anyone. She's thrust into a new town and new school. She has a difficult time fitting in, and the bullies soon start in on her. Tanya hates the school and her classmates and walks the hallways in fear every day. Equally as difficult, she is also having a hard time getting along with her father's new girlfriend at home. So she is feeling pressure from all sides. When Tanya would go off somewhere by herself while at school, scared of being in the general population, she'd keep to herself and try to hide. Enter now Tom Hose, who, in theory, is the one person roaming the halls, there to make sure kids are safe and accounted for, an adult the kids can depend on and turn to, regardless how creepy he is. Hose runs into Tanya from time to time and they chat. As the months pass, Hose even seeks her out while she is in class sometimes, calls her into the hallway, and asks Tanya how she is getting along. So right away, Tanya feels as though she has an advocate, or at least someone who cares about her. There's a dangerous dynamic here taking shape. Student-teacher, power, authority, and a child in desperate need of mentoring and protection. Tom Hose's job, in other words. There's another term for what Hose is doing, though, which I have mentioned on the show before. Grooming. Despite what the child feels or says or even does, it is incumbent upon the adult, especially someone in a position of power, to be responsible and compassionate enough to protect that child. Tanya is 14. She is troubled. She is in a vulnerable situation at school and home and feels as though she has nobody she can confide in. A person in Tom Hose's position can wield great influence and unconscious control, which makes what happens next even that much more criminal and evil. Hose catches Tanya skipping class one day. "You need to get back," he says. Tanya pleads with him. She can't face any more trouble than she already has. "This one time," Hose says, "I'll let you slide." He then walks over, puts his arm around Tanya. "It'll be okay," he says. He can tell she is upset. Then he leans in and he kisses her. By this time, they had known each other and had been talking for a few months. So Tanya trusts the guy. "You should leave," Tom Hose says next. "Leave?" she questions. "Yes," he says. "You should leave and come live with me. Be with me forever." Let's take our only break of the show here. This one has a few interesting twists and turns coming. Be right back. Tanya's father, Jerry, wakes up on February 10th, 1996, realizes his daughter is gone, drops his head in his hands, and dissolves into this "here we go again" frustration he has grown accustomed to. A few days go by and Jerry realizes there is something different about Tanya being gone this time. He has not heard from her and she has not been in school. So by February 14th, which waiting 4 days is something I think needs to be called out here, Jerry files an official missing person report with police. Meanwhile, let's go back to the day Tanya went missing. Security guard Tom Hose had actually planned the entire abduction, which is what this is. He kidnaps Tanya. Even though she leaves her house willingly with her belongings and meets him on that day, this is a child abduction. Period. Hose had told Tanya to head over to a friend's house, a hairdresser by trade that he knew. Once there, that woman dyes Tanya's hair and allows her to stay at her house for several weeks. During this time, Hose visits Tanya, brings her booze, gets her drunk, and then has sex with the 14-year-old 8th grader, which is actually rape. After those first few weeks, Hose brings Tanya over to the house he lives in with his mother and his 22-year-old son. This is about 2 miles from where Tanya lived with her father and his girlfriend. "You'll stay here now," Hose tells her. You won't be allowed to leave the house for a while. That while turns into 4 years. Again, Tom Hose plans all of this because the bedroom he keeps Tanya in is locked from the outside of the door. He explains to her that she'll need to use a metal can in the corner of the room for a toilet when he isn't home. Oh yeah, and Tanya, one more thing, he says. If you tell anyone, I will kill you. Tanya never went back to school after stepping foot inside Hose's house. Every time Hose raped Tanya, he made her write down the details of the assault in a calendar he kept. This might seem weird and diabolical, which I'd argue is absolutely true. But it is just one more way for Tom Hose to wield control over Tanya. Writing about it meant to him that she wanted it, that she participates willingly. According to Tanya, Hose's parents never knew she was in the house. She showered when the parents were sleeping, at which time Hose would feed her whatever leftover food he had not eaten. Great guy. Hose then gives her a new name, Nikki Allen. In 2000, after she turns 18, Hose introduces her to his parents as his girlfriend. By now, Tanya is entirely under his complete control and spell. She even goes out by herself now, but always returns without issue, believing that whatever she does, wherever she goes, Tom Hose is watching. This is after years of Hose drilling into her head that he will smother her while she sleeps if she does anything against his will. According to a civil lawsuit affidavit, in 1999, police showed up at Tom Hose's house 2 times, and Tanya never spoke up. A year later, she even went to Tom Hose and asked him to contact a lawyer about their relationship and when they could get married. All of this is classic Stockholm Syndrome, the psychological phenomenon whereby victims of kidnappings or those taken hostage develop feelings for their captors and develop emotional bonds as a direct response to survival. It is a psychological mechanism the brain uses to help the victim survive the trauma they are going through in the moment. And it often includes the victim defending the abuser. So Tanya develops an emotional attachment to Tom Hose, very positive feelings for him, and even has sympathy for him because her sole intention, without consciously realizing it, is to survive. Victims will also minimize their situation and the crimes committed against them. From the moment he met her, Tom Hose saw Tanya as his victim, period. End of story. He spent months grooming her while she was in school. He employed the help of friends to aid him. He set up a prison cell in his house in order to keep Tanya contained so he could brainwash her, tear her down, and entirely destroy her former self. The guy is a monster. What he did was steal her soul. He tortured Tanya every moment of every day she is with him. He took her childhood from her. And here she is now asking him to find a way for them to be married, which must have told Tom Hose that he had finally succeeded in breaking her. Tom Hose is so confident he has altered Tanya's mind, he allows her to get a job. It's 2005 now, 9 years since he kidnapped her. Tanya gets a job at JJ's Deli Mart, which is not too far from where she is living with Tom. I think what's important to note is that because Tom Hose had kept her locked up for those 4 years in which she changed physically from a 14-year-old to an 18-year-old, she doesn't now look anything like the child she was when he abducted her. So nobody would recognize Tanya. According to what Tanya wrote in that affidavit I mentioned, when she began to experience firsthand the love the owners of the deli had for one another, an old married couple, she begins to see what a healthy romantic relationship looks and feels like. And because of that, she saw for the first time the abusive relationship she had been in with Tom Hose and understood she had been held against her will all this time. So she kind of wakes up here. She kind of sees exactly the situation she is in. Nikki, what's wrong? The owner of the deli says one day when he notices Tanya is crying. My name's not Nikki, she admits. Tom has been holding me captive, she says before explaining the situation. She even tells the owner to visit one of the missing children websites where he'll see her photo and he can learn more information about her. Tanya leaves work that day and goes back home to Tom. The owner of the deli waits until she is gone and calls police. Police show up at Tom's house later that same day, take Tanya out of the house, and arrest Tom. I can remember when this story broke. One of the first responses that made me recoil, made my skin crawl really, came from Tanya's father and his wife, who were quoted as saying Tanya's story doesn't add up. They also mentioned their lack of understanding with regard to why Tanya didn't walk out of Tom's house at the first opportunity she had. There were a lot of people asking the same questions. Tanya was shamed and blamed. All of it is ignorance and uneducated spew from judgmental people. A 14-year-old is a child. That's all we need to know about this case. Tanya reunited with her father and his wife. They seem to get along. But I do not understand how anyone could ever blame Tanya. It does not matter what Tanya did or didn't do. It was never her responsibility to make those choices. All of this is on scumbag Tom Hose, Tanya's kidnapper and abuser. Tom Hose was charged with involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, aggravated indecent assault, endangering the welfare of a child, statutory sexual assault, corruption of a minor, and several additional charges. They did not charge him with kidnapping because, get this, Tanya went with him under her own will, which just blows my mind. So the court itself didn't even recognize her as a minor child, and you could argue, blamed Tanya for her abduction. Hose was sentenced to 15 years. He served those and was released a few years ago. He lives in the same house where he kept Tanya as his hostage and abused her for 9 years. The hairdresser who helped him served nearly 2 years in prison for her role. Keep in mind, she knew all those years where Tanya was and never said a damn thing. Tanya, who wound up estranged from her father and reunited with her mother, is an advocate now. She speaks about her ordeal. She wrote a book. She is married. Tom Hose should have gotten life for the 9 years he took away from that child. That'll do it for this shortcut episode. Make sure you tune into my weekly Crossing the Line with M. William Phelps episodes. I've got some interesting cases coming up. And remember, be safe, be aware, and be alert. I need a favor. Please spread word about our show on social media and word of mouth, of course. And subscribe to Crossing the Line with M. William Phelps wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Don't forget to leave a review of the show, especially on Apple Podcasts. This is completely our show. Reviews and subscriptions truly help. I could not do this show without you. And that support, I must tell you, means everything to me personally. It's incredibly humbling. And I want to thank each of you for listening. I mean this. You have a lot of choices out there, and I'm grateful you've landed on Crossing the Line. If you go to crossingtheline.biz, mwilliamphelps.com, or look in the show notes, you can contact me to suggest cases or just say hello. Please look for me across all social media platforms at M. William Phelps. That's the @ symbol in my name, M. William Phelps. Sources for this episode include U.S. District Court for Western Pennsylvania, Tanya Kach versus Tom Hose, and a host of defendants. September 12, 2008. Woman, 24, says neighbor held her captive for 10 years. New York Times. Ian Urbina, March 24, 2006. Tanya Kach was abducted inside the disturbing case. People Magazine by Jessica Sager, February 10th, 2025. Crossing the Line is executive produced by M. William Phelps, LLC, and Matthew Valentinus, Mom's Basement Management. Written by me, M. William Phelps. Audio mastering and mixing by Matt Russell. Music by Epidemic Sound. Original music written and performed by Thomas Mooney, Tom Phelps, and Matt Russell.